Okay, so today's vocabulary topic is difficulties and problems. So let's have a look. This verb arise is very useful here because issues, questions, problems, even controversy, all of these things arise, okay? They're all used with this verb. Now they're used with other verbs as well, of course, but this one's very useful and it means suddenly appear. And remember the forms of this verb. It's arise, arose, arisen. Yeah, just like rise, rose, risen, arise, arose, arisen. So problems have arisen, controversy has arisen, over, and then the topic which is controversial, or surrounding, and then the problem or topic which is controversial. So for example, controversy has arisen surrounding the or surrounding last year's election. Maybe there were claims of maybe somebody made claims that there were irregularities in the voting process. Maybe there were shortcomings, faults, flaws, failings, weaknesses, and we'll talk about these in a second. But so all of these work with arise, and controversy works with, you can talk about fierce controversy, heated controversy, and of course controversy is where there's lots and lots and lots of argument and fierce debate, heated debate over something, on a certain topic. So be aware that these words collocate, you talk about controversy over abortion or controversy surrounding abortion, and certainly we talk about fierce controversy, heated controversy, and we talk about controversial topics or controversial issues. Certainly that works as well. So you can use the adjective controversial with issues, controversial issues, controversial questions. Okay, so this verb is also very useful, just like arise is very useful with problems. Things can pose a challenge, a risk, a danger, and a threat to you or to society or to your company, maybe. So you might say that the new legislation that has been brought in poses a risk for the future, poses a risk to our company. It poses a risk for our future. That's what I was going to say. But poses a risk to the future of our company. You can certainly say that. So do use to here. It poses a danger to our company. It poses a threat to society. Okay, so that's a very nice collocation to learn for this topic as well. And if something happens, maybe you can raise an issue, you can raise a topic, you can raise a discussion, but perhaps the results of a survey or poll raises a few issues. The results they cause discussion, and so they raise a few issues. Okay, so certainly you can raise an issue, you can raise a topic, you can raise a discussion, but please don't forget you can also raise money. You can raise £400 for charity. It's a very useful verb for charity. You can raise children when you bring them up, and remember we say an upbringing, you bring up children. And you can raise your hand, and you can even raise your eyebrows. If you push your eyebrows up, you raise your eyebrows. Okay, if something is a blatant contradiction, it means an obvious contradiction. It's clear to everybody that this is a contradiction. And a contradiction is when you have opposite things in the same sentence. Something like war is peace. Very famous contradiction from 1984. It's a blatant contradiction, a glaring contradiction. And I wanted to bring up this word again, glaring. We had it in ways of looking, where when something glares at you like a car headlights, it means the headlights are so bright you have to see them, and you're probably squinting. So a glaring contradiction is such an obvious contradiction. It's glaring at you, So I want you to remember this word because it works very well with contradiction, a glaring contradiction. In terms, if it's in the words that are used, a contradiction in terms would be something like war is peace. Okay, so a glaring contradiction, a blatant contradiction. Now, if you want to use the verb contradict, and it's a good verb to use for difficulties and problems, you might say something like this: the evidence flatly contradicts, I'd need an S because that's singular, but these are plural. But the evidence flatly contradicts the assumption that, the claim that, the belief that, the view that, the theory that. Yeah, so very useful little kind of sentence structure for you. And I'm reminding you about flatly, because flatly collocates with he flatly refused, he flatly denied, he flatly rejected. And it also works with flatly contradict. Okay, so it's another good adverb collocation. But you can certainly say the results totally contradict the view that, yeah, the facts totally contradict the belief that, and the findings. Findings are often used after some kind of report or inquiry into something, and you'd often say the findings of the inquiry or the findings of the report. Yeah, so that's very useful as well. Okay, another sentence that you can use down the bottom here, and I'm trying to give you lots of verbs that you can use when you're describing problems. You can say the poll or survey or report or analysis highlights, uncovers, reveals, exposes, casts light on, sheds light on major shortcomings, fundamental flaws, yeah, major faults, major failings, major weaknesses, fundamental weaknesses. All of these work for when you're describing something which doesn't work, yeah, which isn't. I mean, shortcomings would be the weaknesses. Shortcomings and weaknesses are more or less synonymous. But faults, flaws, and faults and flaws are certainly pretty synonymous. These mean the things which mean that the project didn't work, or the whatever it is that you're doing didn't work. Yeah, these are faults or flaws in some kind of project, or I mean, you can even talk about faults in a product, as in something physical. You know, if a microwave oven has faults, it means it has things inside it which mean that it doesn't work. Yeah, the design is poor. Design faults, design flaws. We can certainly use these two words with design. And failings, I think, is usually it's more often about people. You could talk about the government's failings, certainly, and we often do, don't we? We talk about the government's failings, but it's for people failings, and it's when they fail. Inconsistencies, discrepancies and anomalies all work here with major inconsistencies, fundamental inconsistencies. I wouldn't use those two with discrepancies, but major